Did you know that deaf youth who tend to participate more in after-school activities during high school tend to be more successful?
After-school activities help develop different skills such as time management, school and social life balance, and various other responsibilities.
Since I struggled in school, being involved with sports provided me with an escape.
Everyone on the team had the same mindset. There was a lot of camaraderie and excitement around sports. I did well enough in school, but I excelled at sports. I feel I benefited from the experience I had. I had fun socializing with the hearing players, and when they saw I had skill and could play, I felt more included. I felt like I was normal just hanging out with them.
I was involved with a bunch of different clubs and events throughout high school.
They always made sure we were involved with sports and activities that we wanted. We didn't feel limited because of lack of interpreters. They always made sure we were able to choose what was best for us.
After-school activities can range from playing sports such as volleyball, cheerleading, soccer, or basketball, to activities that build leadership skills like YES, or other groups like the Junior NAD, and the many other organizations like it. Involvement with church or various religious denominations, participation in groups that support people of color. Continued involvement in these types of activities have benefits. Research shows that involvement with after-school activities had positive impacts in a number of different areas: building social networks, academic success, as well as academic persistence. And involvement can't happen without teachers, students, and friends. Those relationships are strengthened too. The law ensures that all people have access to these types of opportunities, but what about deaf individuals? Are they getting full access to after-school activities and opportunities?
I didn't have any interpreters.
It was cool. There were about 15 or 20 interpreters.
I missed some information, and I didn't really have a good relationship with my coach.
Interpreters were provided for after-school cheer practice and games too. But I had to request interpreters every year.
I was on the wrestling team at a public high school. I was the only deaf individual and it was hard to communicate. So I just waited around until the coach barked out the instructions.
There is variation in the responses to having access to after-school opportunities, but how many deaf students are currently involved in after-school activities, and what kind?
I played soccer and I wrestled.
I was involved in National Honor Society.
I played basketball.
I wasn't really the sports type or super athletic. I was definitely a nerd. So I did Latin club and UIL competitions.
I played roller hockey.
Cheerleading.
I was involved with a lot, like the academic bowl.
There weren't many activities for me, no.
I was involved with football, basketball, and track.
My after-school activities didn't actually happen at school. They were outside opportunities like an art or theater class.
From a national large-scale data set of students with disabilities, we analyzed the responses of nearly 1,000 deaf students, paying particular attention to two questions. The numbers show that deaf students are not only participating, they are doing so at high rates. 70% of deaf students reported involvement in extracurricular activities, and there's great variation. We see the largest percentage of student participants involved in athletics. They are also involved in religious groups, performing arts, leadership groups, and more. Deaf students that are involved in extracurricular activities tend to show gains in two areas. The first is students involved in any kind of extracurricular activity were more likely to live independently. And the second finding was that involvement in more than one kind of activity increased the likelihood of going to college. Both of these outcomes are crucial. Clearly, participation in after-school activities benefits deaf youth. But what exactly are the benefits? Those involved in after-school activities have more opportunities to solve problems, overcome challenges, strengthen peer relationships, access mentoring networks, and develop time management skills. This important part of growth and these experiences should be made accessible to all deaf youth. So while we want to encourage them to participate in these activities, access is key.